Normally, I wouldn't respond to a comment like this, but as a gay man, representation has saved my life countless times. When I was a little boy and I saw queer people thoughtfully represented in TV and film, I began to see my life as possible. And even though I was bullied, I was living in the Bible Belt, I began to see possibilities for my life that weren't represented in my community. When we have more examples of representation, people are able to have that same experience through whatever intersectional or marginalized identity that is more often than not excluded from mainstream narratives, especially mainstream cinema produced by some of the biggest conglomerate corporations in the world, which are helmed by mostly straight white men who mostly employ straight white people. So just like for much of history, much of our media history in the mainstream has been us living in the cultural imagination of straight white people who had power. That is finally changing for the better. And finally, little girls will be able to go to the cinema and see themselves as the main character and see themselves as the princess. And that is such a good thing. And I think that if more people can realize that, we can recognize that even if a movie is not for you, it's still something to celebrate. I am not a little black girl, but I am so excited that little black girls around the world are going to see this movie and be excited. That brings me joy. Think about all the families who will be able to make this such an exciting experience for their kids who are going to go to the movies together and have just a magical adventure. For the people who are complaining that it's race swapping, I mean, this is a story about fish. Like, fish don't have races. So many of the things that happened in the original animated film were just like random decisions made by the animation team who was rushing to get a movie out. I was listening to Pat Carroll talk about how the other day they didn't have enough money to draw Ursula as a full octopus, so they made her a squid, which has 6 tentacles. Like, why are we in reverence to like random pieces of art that people made in the 90s and 80s and 70s? Just because something is old does not mean we have to like bow to it forever and recreate it frame by frame. I think it's uncomfortable for white people to see this because so often the cultural powers have catered towards only their reality. I think it's very hard for white people to accept that this new world, this more just world that we are building and imagining together isn't just for them, and that's a good thing. While we are eons away from equity and equality and the type of inclusion that we deserve, that these little girls deserve, this is a great step forward, and I believe it should be celebrated. And for people saying, oh, but they're just putting black characters and European stories, we should get our own stories. Of course, the answer is always more representation. But this is Disney, the remake of a beloved Disney classic. All eyes in the world are going to be on this. So this is a huge decision to put a wonderful black actress and singer in the title role. And if you can't see the cultural importance of that and how amazingly impactful that'll be for millions, then I don't know what to tell you.